Neurodiversity. Philosophically, the neurodiversity movement is based on what can be called cerebral pluralism, the idea that each brain is different and some more different than others. Politically, the movement is aligned with disability rights movements and is dedicated to eradicating stigmas associated with neurological differences, or neurodivergence, and in making it clear that a history of medical and social misunderstanding and maltreatment have caused a great deal of suffering and prevented a great deal of thriving among neurodivergent people. The Neurodiversity Paradigm. Neurodiversity is the diversity of human brains and minds, the infinite variation in neurological functioning within our species. The neurodiversity paradigm is an emergent paradigm in which neurodiversity is understood to be a form of human diversity that is subject to the same social dynamics as other forms of diversity, including dynamics of power and oppression. The neurodiversity movement has its origins in the Autistic Rights Movement that sprung up in the 1990s. The term neurodiversity was coined in 1998 by an autistic Australian sociologist named Judy Singer, and was quickly picked up and expanded upon within the autistic activist community. Out of the early autistic social groups of the 1990s emerged autistic culture, the autistic self-advocacy movement, and the assertion that autism is a valid way of being. This environment also gave rise to the neurodiversity movement. The neurodiversity movement prefers to view individuals with autism and other cognitive or neurological impairments in a similar fashion, simply as people with normal differences in behavior. Principles. Neurodiversity is an essential form of human diversity. The idea that there is one, quotes, normal or healthy type of brain or mind, or one, quotes, right style of neurocognitive functioning is no more valid than the idea that there is one, quotes, normal or right gender, race, or culture. The classification of neurodivergence, for example, autism, ADHD, dyslexia, bipolarity, as medical psychiatric pathology has no valid scientific basis, and instead reflects cultural prejudice and can be oppressive to those labeled as such. The social dynamics around neurodiversity are similar to the dynamics that manifest around other forms of human diversity. These dynamics include unequal distribution of social power. Conversely, when embraced, diversity can act as a source of creative potential. In practice, practitioners who integrate the neurodiversity paradigm into their work do so by refusing to label neurodivergence as intrinsically pathological. Instead of attempting to, quotes, cure autistic or bipolar clients, for instance, these practitioners seek to help autistic or bipolar people thrive as autistic or bipolar people, finding ways of living that are more in harmony with their neurological dispositions, and helping them to heal from internalized oppression. Development. The focus of work within the neurodiversity paradigm has broadened beyond autism to encompass other forms of neurodivergence, while at the same time the paradigm has increasingly gained footholds in various realms of scholarship, literature, and practice. Community acceptance and adaptation has a huge role to play in the self-esteem and fulfillment of a neurodivergent population. The town of Giel, Belgium, has been a haven for neurodivergent people since the 13th century. Townspeople there, to this day, take in and care for those with, quotes, psychiatric diagnoses. It is estimated that 20% of the population has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. However, through their family care project, they are blended into and accepted by the populace as an important part of their community. A quote from a present-day report on Giel, Belgium, states, "Patients are allowed to function on their optimal level. If someone is capable of pottering around in the garden of a foster family, then that's okay, just as it is okay for another patient to join the local football club. Accepting what is, not demanding what, quotes, should be, seems to be the motto." Their success is touted as a model of long-term, mutually reinforced well-being. In tribal societies, from time immemorial, shaman were accepted as neurodivergent parts of the society for their critical visionary and healing abilities in communicating with other dimensions. In modern-day cultures, there are countless examples of artists, theoreticians, scientists, and contributors to every domain who are certainly divergent from the norm, but who have had support and contribute to the whole in their unique way. I've had the privilege of helping many of these people with breathwork, who are seen as, quotes, not fitting in, also come to greater self-acceptance, whether they were acknowledged socially for exceptional contributions or they were simply members of a community who were known for their love of animals or simple kindness to others. In the field of breathwork, we inherently accept clients as divine beings who display divergent manifestations of their personhood that have been shaped and conditioned by both love or fear. We use breath and acceptance to help them experience their true nature and release limiting beliefs which suppress their full potential. And we can have our blind spots and unconscious reactions to behaviors and ways of being that have been judged or shunned in our culture. As teenagers, for example, the need to get approval or fit in one's peer group can produce aversive reactions to neurological differences in speech, cognitive processing, or bodily control. Judgments and prejudices are held in place by deep fears of those not like members of, quotes, our tribe. In the course of our early development, primal human fears around safety, inclusion, freedom of movement, and self-expression, gender orientation, and intimacy become organized into patterns that function well for us or keep us in frozen or defensive modes. In the extreme, these have produced enduring conditions of dis-ease, which have been labeled medically for the purpose of trying to find effective ways of treating them. Most of these diagnoses came from correlating a constellation of dysfunctional symptoms rather than a recognition of causative factors. These labels have become lifelong stigmas for many and even self-fulfilling prophecies. I have used Alexander Lowen's detailed work on the inherited and environmental causative factors of dysfunctional patterns of thought and behavior held in place by fear. A body theme is an enduring constellation of structural and characterological positions a person takes toward their life that reflect basic beliefs about themselves and their world, and how to survive and grow in it. Each stage of human development is associated with a body theme that is adaptive in its formation, but can become dysfunctional in its persistence into adult life. All humans face themes of safety, abundance, control, freedom of expression, sexual identity, and intimacy, and they adopt attitudes and postures around them. Each body theme operates on a continuum from fear-based and restrictive to integrative and highly functional. The theme of safety in the first stage of life, for example, may be portrayed in one's body as fragmented and highly constricted, or as secure, sensitive, and integrated. All humans pass through each of the 6 developmental stages and have elements of each body theme. For most humans, however, one stage will stand out with regard to its structural and characterological influence. The defenses of this stage will most often serve as the default mechanism when the person is under stress later in life. Now, this is essential for a practitioner attempting to help a client under duress in both assessing and successfully addressing the client's core issues with techniques that access and help integrate both sides of the brain. Some people will demonstrate an exterior theme which predominates as their, quotes, face to the world, and an interior theme which reflects more core patterns. They may need to work through the holding patterns of their exterior theme before they can address the deeper interior themes. I have assisted numerous clients and students over the years release these holding patterns by breath, movement, and self-realization, insight. I have translated the pathological medical terminology for these neurodivergent patterns and emphasized the gifts of integration hidden within them for the field of breathwork. Bringing to integration the 6 major developmental themes that are cross-culturally validated is one of the major goals of therapeutic breathwork. We have changed the labels of schizoid to psychic sensitive, oral fixation or dependent personality to empathetic nurturing, psychopathic to inspirational leader, masochistic to steadfast supportive, homosexuality to gender balanced, and narcissism and obsessive compulsive disorder to energetic rounded. Now, this reframing is not semantic euphemisms. It's a critical shift in consciousness to honor the neurodiversity in the healing field of holistic practice, and more specifically, breathwork. We are getting to causative factors of healthy or stuck patterns of divergence on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels in our practice. We are facilitating the continuum from less integrated to more integrated functioning as a normal progression, rather than a polarizing divide between sick and healthy. And as such, we're in the vanguard of a paradigm shift in consciousness. We are providing a framework for the origins of emotional and psychological dis-ease as themes originating in human development rather than a collection of symptoms which appear spontaneously throughout life or are genetically predetermined. Now, traumas can happen at any point in one's lifespan, but the course of one's trauma manifestation and recovery will have its roots in their basic characterological patterning. Every person is a recipient of the makeup of the human gene pool and has the potential for manifestation of each of the body themes. But as we know from the field of epigenetics, it is environmental triggers which activate the potentials of our chromosome makeup into our actual functioning. It is these early environmental triggers on which the study of body themes is focused. However, there is an all-important factor beyond chromosomal makeup and environmental triggers that therapeutic breathwork highlights. That is the predominance of individual human spirit and human resilience to make choices that supersede statistical expectations that we might have about their nature-nurture makeup. We now have a container for the study of human growth and development, which can help us interpret body themes and communication patterns, not a typology to classify and predetermine human destiny or an individual's potential or value. As always, Self-reflection is the cornerstone of a breathwork practitioner's competency. We're going to go through an exercise to help integrate a new model of neurodiversity. Neurodiversity exercise, medical symptomology to neurodiverse terminology. You will reflect on the listings of 6 major categories of medical diagnostic symptomatology to see which of these terms to which you're most reactive or prone to ascribe to yourself. Then look at the corresponding 6 neurodiverse terms for reframing these diagnoses into potentially advantageous attributes, given understanding and integrative support. Then see how you might reframe your self-diagnoses and potential projections onto your clients. It is our self-judgments which are most likely to become blind spots and/or projections onto others. Make appropriate notations for yourself in the sections for self-reflection. A, attributes to which I identify, and B, ways I'm willing to own and benefit from the strengths of this theme. Medical symptomatology, Category 1. A, personality disorders. Schizoid personality, that is, emotional aloofness and solitary habits. Paranoid personality, pervasive distrust and suspicion of others and their motives. Fear of disloyalty and harm. Psychosis, schizophrenia, a major thought disorder marked by delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, trouble with thinking, and lack of motivation. Neurodivergent theme, Category 1, psychic sensitive, begins formation in utero as the fetus experiences the mother's hormones and biochemical composition, as well as emotional and psychological states, and eventuates with the first breath we take in the process of birth, and then continues as infants. We learn about safety and danger in our world during the first year of life. Research is showing that the fetus is already practicing breathing movements in the uterus before the formal use of their lungs. The first breath addresses the questions, am I safe, welcome, and wanted here? How I answer this question begins with my experience from conception, life in utero, the birth process, and my experiences after birth. My answer is energetic, not intellectual. It's translated into my physical nervous system and cellular structure. The body theme that portrays one's focus on basic sense of safety and groundedness is called psychic sensitive. When this first period of life is highly stressful, a pattern can develop in the body exemplified as holding together against the fear of annihilation. This leads to living outside of the body or mostly in the mind. Their belief becomes, I'm not safe in my body or my world. And their defense can become, I'm a free spirit unattached to the world. Any contact too close or vulnerable can portend danger. The breath is frozen in fear, and the body looks fragmented. When holding patterns and traumas are released, flow and balance are restored, and the compensatory defenses of escape from the body to other realms become integrated into strengths of sensitivity and artistry that are treasures to our world. Breathwork that is tuned into the challenges of taking in a full inhale and does not overwhelm or re-traumatize the psychic sensitive's nervous system restores the sacred gift of fully owning the breath of existence. The body is grounded, walks safely on earth, and the first chakra, the energy center that is vital in maintaining physical existence and groundedness on earth, is restored to full vibrancy. The graphics we show will demonstrate a progression from less to more integrated features in the body as greater self-awareness, self-acceptance, and well-being develop. For the psychic sensitive, the developmental challenge is existence versus need. Their negative perception is coldness and hostility. Their underlying truth is sensitivity and safety. Their basic belief is the world and my body is not a safe place. The compensating belief is I'm a free spirit, unattached to the material. The frozen body image is disjointed, frozen, minimal breathing, unfocused. The integrated body image is high vibrational, agile, artistically proficient, and responsive. Reaction to stress is to split off. Their strength is their sensitivity. The breathwork goals for the psychic sensitive are to increase breathing and safety in experiencing life, release rage and fear, and to gain comfort with their body. Affirmations for the psychic sensitive are, I need not be afraid of anything inside of me. I am safe when I feel my feelings. I am welcome here. My body is a perfect expression of my light and love. Looking at the drawings of the psychic sensitive, we can see the less integrated has a mask-like face, blank eyes, stiff shoulders, frozen chest, expanded stomach, controlled torso, contracted and frozen ankle, everted high arches, and cold undercharged skin, whereas more integrated is an expressive face, engaging eyes, more relaxed shoulders, more mobile chest. The stomach is softer. Torso is more balanced. Ankle is more flexible. In their feet, their arches are more relaxed, and their skin is warmer and alive. Pause the video and complete the self-reflection questions, then come back to the video. Medical symptomatology, Category 2. A. Personality disorder, oral fixation, an obsession with stimulating the mouth. Dependent personality, feeling helpless, submissive, or incapable of taking care of oneself. Addictive personality, a hypothesized set of personality traits that make an individual predisposed to developing addictions to substances or behaviors. The substance disorder, drug and alcohol addiction. The recurrent use of alcohol and or drugs that causes clinically significant impairment, including health problems, disability, and failure to meet major responsibilities at work, school, or home. Neurodivergent theme, Category 2, empathetic nurturing, begins formation during the first year of life, when the child's needs are expressed without words. These needs tended to, or are the parental figures so involved in trying to meet their own needs that the child's are secondary. For survival, the child learns to read and respond to the needs of the parent in order to get their own needs met. They become empathetic for their own survival. In answer to the question, do I have a right to have? Is there enough? They develop a pattern of, if I love enough, I will be loved. Or if that does not work, they can defensively adopt the belief, I'm self-sufficient. Their body takes on a posture of a collapsed chest and a shallow inhale, which reinforces that they never do get enough life energy. They grow up fast to become the caretaker of others so they might be fed. Their second chakra is underdeveloped, and their capacity to play, dance, enjoy their feelings and sexuality is compromised, leading to periods of collapse and a sense of abandonment and or depression. All this is largely unconscious and reflexive even unto adult life. The body theme that portrays one's basic sense of enoughness is called empathetic nurturing. When their experience has been one of lack, a pattern in the body develops that is one of holding on against loss and deprivation. The breath is shallow and the body looks needy. When holding patterns and traumas are released, fullness and resilience are restored, and the compensatory defenses of empathy out of neediness become integrated into strengths of true ability and joy in nurturing others without depleting oneself. Breathwork that helps the empathetic nurturer fill themselves with a full complement of air and sustaining it without collapsing, such that they reconnect with their true source within them, restores the sacred gift of the breath of abundance. The body is light yet strong, is warm and approachable, exuding the confidence of inner nurturing, and the second chakra is restored to full-flowing sensuality. For the empathetic nurturer, the basic developmental challenge is need versus independence. Their negative perception is one of deprivation. Their underlying truth is abundance. Their basic belief is, I never get enough. The compensating belief is, if I love enough, I'll be loved, or I'm self-sufficient. The frozen body image is shallow inhale, collapsed chest, pelvis forward, knees locked, often tall and thin, but not necessarily. Their integrated body image is light, approachable, warm, yielding, receptive. Their reaction to stress is to collapse. Their strength is their empathy. The breathwork goals are to increase self-support and the ability to sustain experiences over time, to decrease abandonment and depletion themes. Affirmations for the empathetic nurturer are, it's okay to need. I'll never abandon myself. I now attract the support I need to fulfill all my desires. I do enough, I have enough, I am enough. The graphics for the empathetic nurturing show the less integrated as having full, pleading, and tense lips. The head is forward and inflated. The base of the skull is tense. The chest and the sternum is collapsed, depressed. The back is weak. The long muscles of the back are tight. The legs are locked and thin. The feet are either long and thin or flabby, childlike. The body is weak and undercharged, and the skin is easily bruised. Whereas the more integrated they become, the lips are more proportional and the jaw is more mobile. The head is well proportioned and centered. The base of the skull is more relaxed. The chest and the sternum is open and released. The back is strong and flexible. The knees are soft and the legs are more supportive. The feet are well grounded, and the body is resilient. The skin is vibrant and responsive. Pause the video and complete the self-reflection questions, then come back to the video. Medical symptomatology, Category 3. A. Personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. B. Psychopathy. Traits include bold, impulsive externalization and callous aggression. This is no longer listed as an official mental disorder in the Psychiatric Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, but the traits are subsumed under the antisocial personality disorder. Neurodivergent theme, Category 3, inspirational leader. This begins formation around 18 months of age, when the child begins to move about on their own into the 4th year of life. Is the child's desire to reach out and move in their environment safely supported? Or are they overpowered by parental will or manipulated by using their feelings to control them? If so, the child learns to rise above their feelings and to vie for power with threat or their own seduction. They become willful for their own survival. In answer to the question, do I have the right to be free from the manipulative needs of others, they develop a pattern of to give in to feeling is weak, and they can defensively adopt the belief, I'm in control in all circumstances. Their body takes on one of two postures. The first, overpowering, is upwardly displaced energy with their upper body inflated and a controlling gaze. Or they adopt a more seductively controlling style with more even body proportions. Relationships become a power struggle for who is one up. Their third chakra is overdeveloped, and their capacity to let down and enjoy their feelings is diminished, leading to always having to be on or in charge. These patterns can often carry over into adult life. This body theme that portrays the basic sense of self-empowerment is called inspirational leader. When their experience has been one of being overpowered or seduced, a pattern in the body develops of holding up against the fear of vulnerability. The breath is held on the inhale, and there is difficulty in surrendering to a free exhale. The body looks tense and forceful on the outside, or superficially engaging but guarded on the inside. When holding patterns and traumas are released, their feelings and vulnerability are integrated, and their leadership qualities demonstrate the head and the heart working together. They're able to let down and take in as appropriate, to lead from the heart and enjoy their relationships rather than just manage them. Breathwork helps the inspirational leader relax on their exhale and let their heart open without fear of being controlled. They can enjoy sharing their feelings because the sacred gift of the breath of harmony in relationships and with the world is restored. The body displays the strength and attractiveness in an integrated way. Their true identity and sense of safe power emanating from the third chakra is restored to a brilliant beacon of radiant energy. The developmental challenge for the inspirational leader is independence versus closeness. Their negative self-perception is one of overpowering or seduction. Their underlying truth is mutual support and harmony. Their basic belief is to give in to feeling is weak. Their compensating belief is I'm in control. Their frozen body image is of muscle-bound, upper body inflated, or normal proportions with hyperflexible back. Their integrated body image is strong, attractive, energy up. Their reaction to stress is control, to rise above, or seduce. Their strength is leadership. The breathwork goals here are to release the exhale, to increase pleasure in letting go, surrender with others, safety and pleasure in their feelings. Affirmations for the inspirational leader are, I am a good person. I'm important to myself and others. It's safe for me to feel vulnerable. I safely experience and express all my feelings. It's enjoyable to let others support me. The first graphic shows the overpowering inspirational leader. The less integrated has a disproportionately large upper body. The eyes are powerful and controlling. The base of the skull has got marked tension, and the shoulders are large and rigid. The pelvis is rigid and undercharged. It's held in. The legs are locked and have a smaller proportion to the upper body. The more integrated of this theme have an upper body that has more even energetic distribution. The eyes are engaging and receptive. Base of the skull is more relaxed, and the shoulders are also more relaxed. The pelvis is open and integrated, and the legs are grounded and strong. The graphic for the seductive inspirational leader type shows the less integrated face is compelling and riveted. The back is tight. The pelvis is highly charged with dissociative jerky quality. And the body has even proportions, but is emotionally detached. The more integrated has an open receptive face, flexible back. The pelvis is integrated with the body, and the body has even proportions, is relaxed, and energetically integrated. Pause the video and complete the self-reflection questions, then come back to the video. Medical symptomatology Category 4. A. Personality disorder. Masochistic personality. Obtains gratification or freedom from guilt feelings as a consequence of humiliation, self-degradation, self-sacrifice, wallowing in misery, and in some instances, submitting to physical sadistic acts. B. Depression. A mood disorder characterized by persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest, feelings of worthlessness, poor concentration, and can involve thoughts of self-harm. Neurodivergent theme, Category 4, steadfast supportive, begins in the 2nd to 4th year of life when the child begins to more adequately differentiate and moderate their feeling states. Is the child's growing abilities to know and express their likes and dislikes supported, or are they taught only to feel and express in the approved way of the parents, and thereby develop a, quotes, good me, bad me persona accordingly? Love then becomes linked with approval, and the child learns to suppress what feelings are not okay with the parents. They can be controlled by guilt and shame, which they eventually internalize to continually control themselves against their own impulses, feeling the ongoing pressure of the question, do I have the right to act on my feelings? It's a struggle between the adopted good me and bad me. They develop an attitude of, no one appreciates me. No one knows how much I suffer. And later, they can defensively adopt the belief, my struggle is noble. Their body takes on a squashed appearance due to the musculature continually holding in. This is often reflected in early toilet training habits of holding in the, quotes, bad things at all costs for fear of being shamed. Their 4th chakra is constricted, and their capacity to freely enjoy and express their feelings is under pressure, leading to always be in inner conflict. This body theme that portrays one's basic sense of self-respect is called steadfast supportive. When their experience has been one of being squashed by shame or guilt, for example, I shouldn't feel angry or sad or scared or even too happy, a pattern in the body develops of holding in against the fear of disapproval and resulting lack of self-respect. The breath is held out on the inhale, and there's difficulty in releasing a complete exhale. The body looks under pressure with a thick neck, pelvis tucked in, waist short and thick. When the holding pattern and traumas are released, their good me and bad me split becomes integrated through self-acceptance into a authentic me. They can express their love with a variety of feelings directly rather than passive-aggressively or as a victim. Their loyalty and ability to stick with projects is no longer out of fear of disapproval, but genuine love because they can set and respect their own boundaries. Breathwork helps those with the steadfast supportive theme release their exhale and let their expression be authentic and appropriate without fear of being shamed by others or themselves. They can enjoy sharing their heartfelt relationships because of the sacred gift of the breath of freedom of feeling is restored. The body is solid, enduring, tender, and huggable. Their authentic expression of love and self-respect emanating from the fourth chakra is restored to a vibrant, welcoming glow. The developmental challenge of this steadfast supportive is closeness versus freedom of expression. Their negative self-perception is humiliation, and their underlying truth is freedom of expression and support. Their basic belief is, no one appreciates me, and their compensatory belief is, my struggle is noble. Their frozen body image is thick neck, pelvis tucked in, waist short and thick, and often squashed appearance. Their integrated body image is solid, enduring, tender, and huggable. Their reaction to stress is to provoke, and their strength is being able to help. The breathwork goals here are to complete the exhale and to deal directly with anger and release their creative spirit. Affirmations for the steadfast supportive are, my anger is my love. I no longer have to struggle and be good to get what I want. My anger always leads to increased joy and intimacy. I now openly receive the acknowledgement and appreciation I've always wanted. Looking at the graphics of the steadfast supportive, we see the less integrated has a face with a naive expression. The neck is short and thick. The shoulders are tense and rounded over. The abdomen has contracted muscles. The pelvis is forward, and the buttocks are squeezed. The legs have overdeveloped calves and thighs. The feet have tight arches, and the body overall has a squashed appearance. In developing more integration, the face is open, receptive, and expressive. The neck is pliable. The shoulders and the back are relaxed and strong, flexible. The abdomen is relaxed. The pelvis is in a neutral position. The buttocks are firm but relaxed. The calves and the thighs are proportional to the body. They have relaxed arches. The body overall is tender and has a huggable appearance. Pause the video and complete the self-reflection questions, then come back to the video. Medical symptomatology, Category 5. A. Sexual orientation disturbance. In 1973, this medical diagnosis represented a compromise between the previous view of preferential homosexuality as invariably a mental disorder and the view that it's merely a normal sexual variant. B. Gender dysphoria is defined by strong, persistent feelings of identification with another gender and discomfort with one's own assigned gender and sex. In order to qualify for a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, these feelings must cause significant distress or impairment. Neurodivergent theme, Category 5, gender balanced. This begins in the 3rd to the 5th year of life, when the child is filled up energetically and emotionally. At this stage, there's a desire to move that energy forward into creativity, into the act of giving something back, making one's own offering to the world. The ability to make this offer and to be appreciated for it is essential for maintaining a strong sense of self. This is a period of expansion, experimentation, and creativity. Here it's important to support the child's natural curiosity and creativity, since this is also the period during which children are solidifying their gender identity. If the way a male child expresses himself is a threat to his father, for example, and is severely challenged, he can take on a more soft, feminine way of expressing, not just vocally, but with his whole body. He becomes split. His exterior is rounded and his expression compliant, while his inner core is more rigid. His assertiveness can come out indirectly as sarcasm or otherwise passively. If the female child's expression of her femininity is a threat and challenged, she may adapt a more masculine, assertive expression for protection. Her body is split, with the upper body having a jaw set in defiance of male authority, while her lower body being more soft and weak. Both male and female develop an attitude of my expression as a male or a female is invalid, and their adaptive stance leads them to affirm my adapted way of expression is safer than others of my gender. Some individuals identified as males at birth may naturally have a greater balance of feminine energy, and individuals identified as females at birth may naturally have a greater balance of masculine energy. The operative element at this stage is how much of their natural expression is supported or suppressed. This stage of development is transitional between childhood and adulthood and can display holding patterns that include holding together, holding on, holding up, holding in of the prior stages, as well as the holding back of the final stage to be described. The body theme, which portrays one's basic sense of creative self-expression, is called gender balanced. When their natural expression has been compromised, their breath is also out of balance. The goal in breath work with this theme is to release the splits and holding patterns in both the inhale and exhale, and to bring the body and mind into the rhythms that are natural and true to their spirit. When holding patterns and traumas are released, they are able to express both their male and female qualities with a harmony and balance that give them the best of both worlds, rather than being polarized into the stereotypes of cultural gender identities. The developmental challenge for the gender balanced is freedom of expression versus gender identity. The negative perception is role confusion versus their underlying truth, sexual integration. Their basic belief is, if I assert myself spontaneously, I'll be rejected. Their compensatory belief is, my assertion is safer than others of my gender. The frozen body image for the male is soft, rounded exterior, compliant expression. For the female, split upper and lower body, one rigid, the other weak, and a tight jaw. Their integrated body images have an integration of both the inner and the outer, the upper and the lower, and a balance of assertion and sensitivity. The reaction to stress for the male is to undermine, for the female is to attack. The strengths for both are to blend male and female perspectives. Breathwork goals include balance of the inhale and exhale, the strength and sensitivity, and to accept safety in their gender and sexual identity. Affirmations for the gender balanced are, my sexuality is holy, and my sexual expression leads to increased intimacy, understanding, and love in my life. I accept and enjoy my male and female qualities. I'm an attractive, loving man or woman, and I express my life energies fully, freely, and pleasurably. Looking at the graphic for the male gender balanced, we see that the less integrated has a face that's expressionless, soft, and plastic. The shoulders are narrow, the abdomen has a bulge in it, and the hands are soft and weak. The waist is contracted. The movements are never brusque or assertive, and the body is hard and rigid underneath, but unified altogether. As they become more integrated, the face is expressive and congruent. The shoulders are at ease. The abdomen is toned and relaxed. The hands are soft yet strong. The waist is unrestricted. The movements are receptive or assertive as appropriate. And the body overall has got integrated strength and adaptability. The graphic for the gender-balanced female shows that the less integrated has an upper body that is highly charged or collapsed. The eyes are focused and sharp. The jaw is forward and defiant. The lower body is weak, passive, and withholding, especially at the anus, shows male muscular development and excess hair and darker skin. For the more integrated, the upper body is well-toned and vibrant. The eyes show engaging contact, and the jaw is more loose. The lower body is strong, balanced, flowing, and integrated. Pause the video and complete the self-reflection questions, then come back to the video. Medical symptomatology, Category 6. A. Personality disorder. Narcissistic personality, characterized by an exaggerated sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for other people. B. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, characterized by excessive orderliness, perfectionism, attention to detail, and a need for control in relating to others. Neurodivergent theme, Category 6, energetic grounded. This begins in the 4th to the 6th year of life. If wounding and rejection occurs with the maturation of one's evolving sexuality, and there is a split between the heart and the genitals, that is, one's sexual expression is rejected and must be suppressed in order to be given love, then the child can take on an armoring in the heart area, while shuttling energy into the mental and lower body areas. This can produce energy for outward success and worldly endeavors, but preclude mature long-term intimacy. This energetic grounded theme takes on rigid but high-energy stature, armored, stiff back and bright eyes, and their characteristic belief becomes, "No one is going to hurt me again." They can be quite competitive and successful in all areas, but in affairs of the heart. They might be quite knowledgeable in many subjects, but as long as their heart is blocked, they do not achieve an integrated wisdom which allows them to fully develop intimacy and interpersonal or spiritual relationships. The basic right in question is, do I have the right to know true love and spiritual fulfillment? Their body theme, when split, exemplifies the pattern of holding back against the fear of surrender to the deeper currents of life, love, sexuality, cosmic longing. When their natural longings have been thwarted or denied, their breath reflects their imbalance. The breathwork goal for the energetic grounded pattern is to experience being loved and appreciated for oneself, and to relax and play in order to experience heartfelt contact with others. The goals further include to integrate the inhale and exhale, softening their armoring to unite love and sexuality, and to feel safe being vulnerable with others. When their holding back patterns and traumas are released, they are attractive, alert, capable, healthy, and open to deeper intimacy. The developmental challenge for the energetic grounded is gender identity versus surrender to love. Their negative perception is disappointment. Their underlying truth is intimacy. The basic belief is, no one is going to hurt me again. Their compensating belief is, I'm a loving person who no one understands. Their frozen body image is armored, stiff back, bright eyes. Their integrated body image is attractive, alert, capable, and healthy. The reaction to stress is to blow off steam. Their strength is to deal effectively with the world. Breathwork goals are to integrate the inhale and exhale, unite love and sexuality, and safety and vulnerability with others. Affirmations for the energetic grounded are, opening my heart always leads to greater experiences of love and safety. Expressing my true feelings and desires always leads to increased intimacy. I forgive myself for believing that I was rejected sexually. I now attract relationships that are both loving and sexually fulfilling. The graphic for the energetic grounded male shows the less integrated face has a set jaw. The eyes have high energy. The shoulders are raised and squared off. The chest is held out. The back is tense. The pelvis is fixed back. And the body has even proportions, but armored. More integrated, the face shows a relaxed jaw. The eyes are still bright and engaging. The shoulders are resilient and flexible. The chest is relaxed, and the back is more toned and unrestricted. The pelvis is in a neutral position, and the body shows even proportions and is open. The graphic for the energetic grounded female shows the less integrated face is tight with a tense jaw. The base of the skull has extreme tension. The shoulders are immobile. The lower back is tight, and the pelvis is pulled back, soft, but sexually alive. The legs are stiff. The upper body is rigid, and the lower body soft and yielding. With more integration, the face is bright and attractive. There's less tension at the base of the skull. The shoulders are flexible. The lower back is released, and the pelvis is open and integrated. The legs are supportive, and the upper body is open. The lower body is alive and integrated. Pause the video and complete the self-reflection questions, then come back to the video. Here are some important notes on the work that we've been doing. First of all, included in this presentation are very brief descriptions of the etiology and the techniques with which to bring greater integration to the 6 categories of neurodivergent themes described. More theory and practice can be obtained in the study of the field of bioenergetics, and more specifically for breathworkers in the training for therapeutic breathwork. 2. Anxiety, generalized fear, depression, loss of self-worth, lack of energy and motivation, and addiction, dependence on outside substances for self-regulation, can occur in each of the various body themes. But the causative factors are different for each. Consequently, the approach to healing is different. We adopt the healing power of the breath to fit the characterological and physical holding patterns of each theme, and teach the tools of self-regulation that work best for the person, not the symptom. For extra credit, to yourself that is, it would be very fruitful to share with another open-minded and open-hearted person your reactions and insights that you discovered in this exercise and how it can be useful in your practice of breathwork. The neurodiversity paradigm started with those working with autism. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention tell us that, quotes, autism spectrum disorder is medically classified as a developmental disability that can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges. People with autism spectrum disorder may communicate, interact, behave, and learn in ways that are different from most other people. The learning, thinking, and problem-solving abilities with autism spectrum disorder can range from gifted to severely challenged. Some people with autism spectrum disorder need a lot of help in their daily lives. Others need less. People with autism spectrum disorder often have problems with social, emotional, and communication skills. They might repeat certain behaviors and might not want change in their daily activities. Many people with autism spectrum disorder also have different ways of learning, paying attention, or reacting to things. Signs of autism spectrum disorder begin during early childhood and typically last throughout a person's life. There's no medical test to diagnose the disorders. Doctors look at the child's behavior and development to make a diagnosis. There's some evidence that the critical period for developing autism spectrum disorder occurs before, during, and immediately after birth. And genetic as well as environmental influences affect the severity and adaptive abilities of those on the autism spectrum. There is currently no cure for autism spectrum disorder. However, research shows that early intervention treatment services can improve a child's development. Early intervention services help children from birth to 3 years old learn important skills. Services can include therapy to help the child talk, walk, and interact with others. That again is a quote from the Center for Disease Control. Now, how does this fit into the 6 stages of developmental challenges we just outlined? From my perspective, the onset of characterological traits of those on the autism spectrum correspond most closely to the psychic sensitive stage of development, which is pre-birth into the first year of life. The upset I have witnessed with some autistic children when the basic safety measures of their routines are changed or threatened is quite similar to those on the less integrated end of the psychic sensitive continuum. In fact, many of the diagnostic symptoms of autism reflect very similarly the less integrated psychic sensitive patterns. Namely, they have trouble relating to others or not to have an interest in other people at all, avoid eye contact and want to be alone, have trouble understanding other people's feelings or talking about their own feelings, prefer not to be held or cuddled, or might cuddle only when they want to, appear to be unaware when people talk to them, but respond to other sounds, be very interested in people, but not know how to talk, play, or relate to them, repeat or echo words or phrases said to them, or repeat words or phrases in place of normal language, have trouble expressing their needs using typical words or motions, not play, quotes, pretend games, for example, not pretend to feed a doll, repeat actions over and over, have trouble adapting when a routine changes, have unusual reactions to the way things smell, taste, look, feel, or sound. This strongly suggests to me that the neurodivergent templates of psychic sensitive we use in breathwork again cuts across different categories of medical diagnoses and provides us with tools for understanding and treatment yet to be discovered and fully explored. Self-harm, poor self-esteem, increased anxiety, and depression are all commonly experienced by the autistic young people. Nonetheless, there is some evidence for the benefits of a neurodivergent approach that comes in a study of children on the autistic spectrum. To quote, a 2009 study separated 27 students with autism, dyslexia, developmental coordination disorders, ADHD, and stroke into 2 categories of self-view. First, a difference view, where neurodiversity was seen as a difference incorporating a set of strengths and weaknesses. Or 2, a medical deficit view, where neurodiversity was seen as a disadvantageous medical condition. They found that although all of the students report uniformly difficult schooling careers involving exclusion, abuse, and bullying, those who viewed themselves from a difference view, 41% of the study cohort, indicated higher academic self-esteem and confidence in their abilities, and many, 73%, expressed considerable career ambitions with positive and clear goals. Many of these students reported gaining this view of themselves through contact with neurodiversity advocates and in online support groups. In bringing increased understanding of healthy aspects, strengths, and gifts to the world that is at the core of neurodivergent ways of being, and using the tools of breathwork to bring these forth, we are rewriting the pathways of healing for so many whose only recourse had been the use of psychotropic medications and occasional talk therapy. Medications do have a place at times to deal with chemical imbalances that have resulted from long-term dysregulated living, but they should be used only to the extent that they promote the increase of self-regulation. For many, that is where breathwork is supplying a next step that is vital to their self-esteem and self-acceptance. I invite sharing and collaboration of these advances in treatment amongst breathwork practitioners through the Global Professional Breathwork Alliance, as well as cooperation with other healing arts and scientific research that is promoting our growing world consciousness.